So now let's take a look at an option, getting into the head and arm and getting the finish, starting from the leg drag. First, let's just take a look at how I like to control from the leg drag, making our positioning as strong as possible, and then how our partner is going to react. Very similar to the knee cut, but obviously from a different spot, so we want to make sure we cross all our T's and dot all our I's. All right, so we're here. Any way that you like to get into the leg drag, for me, you can either pass the leg drag fast here and then walking right to the side. For me, I always like to try to shut down the hips and be as strong as possible, putting a lot of good pressure down, forcing your partner to frame and create a reaction so that it's easier for us to start looking for the finish. All right, so any way that you like to go into the leg drag, one simple way I like is cupping the ankle, looking to drag the leg by and reinforcing with your left hand. So say we're just passing from the open guard here. I'll start dragging the leg by, following with my left hand to the thigh, dragging the leg to my hip. And for me, I always know there's some people that like to go into the leg drag with the dragging leg extended. For me, I've always felt more comfortable dropping my knee to the mat. So whenever you get a leg drag, guys, I want you to focus on this leg positioning, making sure that your knee touches the mat. I feel like if my knee is off the mat like this, it's easier for him to hip escape, bring this leg out, and maybe start facing me. I like to think with my leg drag, getting my ankle over his thigh and pinning his leg. So from here, making sure that my ankle goes over the thigh, getting my knee to the mat. So it's like I have a good pin right here. All right. Once you get your knee to the mat, I want you to focus on your opposite leg. So my right leg, sorry, I'm going to turn you this way, is going to be in like what I like to call a kickstand right here. If I have my leg too overly extended, he has more ability to move his hips. What I want you guys to think about with this leg drag is keeping both of your knees turned in, pinching on your partner's hips. So his escapes aren't going to come from his leg movement. His escape that we're only giving him is going to be from framing and from trying to push away. So limit your partner's hip movement so that their only option is to use their arms to try to escape. That's where we find our head and arm from there. So I keep my thigh by his butt, by his hip, turning my knee in from here. So like I say, I'm on the inside of my foot like a kickstand right here. Okay. My left hand is going to be cupping the bicep and keeping my elbow in. I always focus on keeping my elbow to the inside, because if I keep my elbow out, it's easier for him to start bringing his knee in, framing, pushing me away. So I always want to be here. Okay, so getting my tricep to meet my partner's thigh. All right, that really gives him the only option, the only line of defense is going to be his left arm framing against my neck. Okay. So now it's going to be very similar as what we did from the knee cut. I'm here, I'm keeping my head low. You can be using your right arm to hug the hip, dropping your head as low as you can. Now from here, let's say he's pushing in towards me. Same idea, guys. I want to create a reaction. So I like to drive in towards him as best I can. And when he starts pushing back and trying to create space, that weight that he's giving me is the opportunity to start pushing the arm by and looking to connect that head and arm. All right, so let's say I push in towards him, he pushes back, I cup the tricep, and same thing as before. Arm comes under the head right as I'm pushing that arm by, and I connect my hands. So again, in full motion. One more time. Here. So it's a real quick movement. Everything can be tight, everything can be slow. The one thing that I like to speed up is making sure that moment where I'm pushing the arm by and connecting to the head and arm from here. Now guys, a key detail I like to focus on is making sure that I get my head and arm as strong as I can from the leg drag here before I go to the side. Now, of course, you can always adjust once you get to the side. It's very doable. But when we go to the side and we get away from our partner's legs, there is more of an ability for our partner to escape. So I like to get my submission as strong as I can while I'm still entangled his legs so that by the time I go to the side, it's pretty much done at that point, and there's very little time for our partner to escape. All right, so we go into the leg drag here, getting my knee to the mat, focusing on pinning his bottom leg, pinning his thigh, not keeping my knee off the mat, knee to the mat. Left hand controls the bicep, keeping my elbow to the inside, keeping my knees pinched, so I'm controlling his hip movement from here. His main form of defense is just the frame. Usually he's going to look to try to push away and maybe try to sit up. but I'm keeping good pressure. He's driving in towards me. As I come back, I push on his tricep, and I drop my head to his shoulder. And then I start bringing my left arm under his head, connecting my hands from here. Remember, palm to palm, choking arm is going to be palm down towards the mat from here. Rotating your head in towards him so it's harder for him to bring his leg out. Now from here, I just start walking to the side. Once you guys feel like you have the position tight, make sure that that head and arm is as strong as you can make it until you start walking to the side. Once we get to the side, we want it to be on right away. Okay? So the key detail with this, focus on making the adjustments when you're still within your partner's leg, when you're still entangled in the leg drag, so that once you get to the side, it's a quick tap from there.